The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Now, the waves beside them dance means we know that it was already said in the second stanza that the daffodils were stretching in never-ending line along the edge of a bay. A bay means a small sea with land on three sides. So the waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. But they, who's referred as they here? Yes, the daffodils. So these daffodils, they outdid the sparkling waves. They outshine the sparkling waves, which means the daffodils were superior to waves in their performance. How did they outdid the sparkling waves? They danced in great joy. So the waves were also dancing. There were a competition going on between the waves and the daffodils. There, the daffodils outshined the performance as they danced in great joy. A poet could not but be gay. A poet could feel nothing else other than be gay. Gay means other than being happy or joyful. In such a jocund company, jocund means cheerful. So the poet could not feel anything else other than being happy in such a cheerful company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought. Now the poet gazed at the sight of these daffodils. That means he couldn't move his eyes from the sight of these lovely daffodils which were dancing in glee. We might have experienced it at times when we are suddenly struck by the incredible beauty of a simple scene, that we won't be able to move our eyes from that scene. So just like that, the poet gazed and gazed. The poet could not move his eyes from such a beautiful scene. He was staring at the daffodils for a quite long time in his sense of wonder. He seems to be thunderstruck by the beauty of the flowers so that he could not move. But little thought, still there was a little thought in his mind. What was that? What wealth the show to me had brought. What wealth? Wealth here means it's not about any money or materialistic things. It is about the sense of peace and joy that he gained from the sight of these golden daffodils. The mere sight of the golden daffodils somehow enriched his life and brought wealth to him. It gave a great pleasure in the mind of the poet. For oft, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. For oft means often when he sits on his couch, in vacant or in pensive mood. In vacant means in an empty mood without any thoughts and sights. Just like how a person sits on a sofa when he is bored and trying to decide what to do. So we know that an idle mind is devil's workshop. So at that time, all unwanted worries come into our mind, right? So just like that, while he lies on his couch in an empty mood without knowing what to do, or in pensive mood, in a brooding mood, or in a very sad mood, they flash upon that inward eye. At that time, the image of daffodils flashes through his mind, which is the bliss of solitude, which is the great joy of solitude. Bliss means great joy or happiness, a complete happiness. Of solitude. Solitude means loneliness. When the memory of the daffodils and the lake flashes into head, the poet again feels happy. It's almost like the same experience that he had while wandering through nature at the beginning of the poem, when the real daffodils pushed the loneliness out of his head. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and then his heart is filled with great pleasure. Why? Because there is an image of these golden daffodils in his mind, and dances with the daffodils. Then his heart is set to dance just like the daffodils, and he dances along with his cheerful companions. So, whenever he is in down mode, the image of the daffodils flashes through his mind, and his heart fills with great pleasure, and he starts to dance with the daffodils. He thanks the bed of daffodils who has come to give a cheerful company in his lonely travel. And finally, he is in peace. His mood transits from pensive mood or sad mood to a very peaceful and joyful mood. That's the pleasure these daffodils give the poet. With this, the poem ends. How do you feel after reading the poem Daffodils? You must also be feeling great pleasure after reading these lines of daffodils, right? Wordsworth has artistically presented a beautiful landscape where there was everything from the daffodils to the waves in the lake, trees, breeze, and all, right? He is trying to convey us that nature is the greatest gift of God. We know that nature is the greatest blessing that we have received from God. To enjoy that, we really need to observe each and everything carefully. When we observe those things, we understand the beauty that God has given in each and every object. And these sights will turn up as flourishing moments in our life. The poet says that when we use these beautiful moments, when we try to recall these beautiful moments in our life, it gives us inner peace and joy. It gives us real pleasure or peace rather than any other things in our world. It makes us happy and joyful. With this, I am winding up today's lesson. You may write a poem or a paragraph which describes about the beautiful view you have enjoyed in your life and submit it when you come back. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you.